Good afternoon. We are back with reading and lunch with Anna. And today it's in English. We have to alternate a little bit because the goal is that Anna will be proficient in both languages eventually. That's our goal. So we have to do some Norwegian and some English, and that might broaden our audience base as well, Nanner, right? Isn't that good? Yeah. She's offering me a tomato, so I have to accept it. Thank you very much, Anna. On the menu today, it's kind of a fancy lunch, if I have to say so myself. It's brats or bratwurst, if you aren't into the Midwest lingo, and cauliflower tots, which is, it looks like deep fried cauliflower. Pretty American, I guess. Never seen anything like it across the pond. The book of today is The Hobbit. Yeah. I've tried reading this to Anna earlier. It's kind of a heavy book, actually, to read out loud. The quote or the quotes when people talk, it's often a little difficult to understand before you've read it what is a direct quote and what is the narrator's voice. So if things, if I have to read something because I understand that I've had the wrong intonation or something, I'll apologize in advance. But we'll just crack at it and see how it goes. And Anna just dumped all her food onto her tray from her plate. She's not a big fan of plates, but she's still eating and seems content. So I have high hopes. All right, Anna, are you ready? Yep. Okay. I think I'll skip past the introductions and forward and those things, and go straight to like notes on additions and that kind of thing. And we will get right at chapter 1, An Unexpected Party. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door, like a porthole, painted green, with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened on to a tube-shaped hall, like a tunnel. A very comfortable tunnel, without smoke, with paneled walls and floors tiled and carpeted. Provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. The hobbit was fond of visitors. The tunnel wound on and on, going fairly, but not quite, straight into the side of the hill. The hill, as all the people for many miles around called it. And many little round doors opened out of it, first on one side and then on the other. No going upstairs for the hobbits. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cellars, pantries, lots of these. Wardrobes, he had whole rooms devoted to clothes. Kitchens, dining rooms, all were on the same floor, and indeed on the same passage. The best rooms were all on the left-hand side going in, for there were the only ones to have windows. These were the only ones to have windows. Deep-set, round windows looking over his garden, and meadows beyond, sloping down to the river. This hobbit was a very well-to-do hobbit, and his name was Baggins. The Bagginses had lived in the neighborhood of the hill for time out of mind, and people considered them very respectable, not only because most of them were rich, but also because they never had any adventures or did anything unexpected. You could tell that a Baggins would say on any question without the bother. You could tell what a Baggins would say on any question without the bother of asking him. This is a story of how a Baggins had an adventure and found himself doing and saying things altogether unexpected. He may have lost the neighborhood's respect, but he gained, well, you will see whether he gained anything in the end. The mother of our particular hobbit. What is a hobbit? I suppose hobbits need some description nowadays, since they have become rare and shy of the big people, as they call us. They are, or were, a little people, about half our height, and smaller than the bearded dwarves. Hobbits have no beards. There is little or no magic about them, except the ordinary, everyday sort which helps them to disappear quietly and quickly when large, stupid folk like you and me come blundering along, making a noise like elephants, which they can hear a mile off. They are inclined to be fat in the stomach. They dress in bright colors, chiefly green and yellow, wear no shoes because their feet grow natural leathery soles, and thick, warm brown hair like the stuff on their heads, which is curly. Have long, clever brown fingers, good-natured faces, and laugh deep, fruity laughs, especially after dinner, which they have twice a day when they can get it. Now you know enough to go on with. As I was saying, the mother of this hobbit, of Bilbo Baggins, that is, was the famous Belladonna Took. What's up, Nanner? Have you lost food on the ground? Let's see. There. Can I have one? You want to share? Okay, you can have it. You can have it. I'm not going to steal your food. Are you out of drink? Not quite. Do you want something else? Some juice, maybe? Yeah. We have to bribe you with juice. All right. All right. We. Oh, you're smiling. You know what's coming. Oh, there's Shadow. What is he saying, Anna? You're the one who speaks meow. There. All right. So, where were we? Yeah. His mother was the famous Belladonna Took, head of the hobbits who lived across the water, a small river that ran at the foot of the hill. It was often said, in other families, that long ago, one of the Took ancestors must have taken a fairy wife. That was, of course, absurd, but certainly there was still something not entirely hobbit-like about them. And once in a while, members of the Took clan would go and have adventures. Oh, I think we're being joined to the party, Anna, of none other than Mommy. Mommy, are you there?
I'm here.
Welcome. We're eating your tots. It seems you've given up on them.
I don't know what a tot is.
I think that's what it said. Cauliflower tots.
Oh, yeah, you can have them.
All right. Nanner likes them. I like them. All right. Where were we? Yeah, would have had to go on an adventure. They discreetly disappeared, and the family hushed it up.
Oh, what did you say?
Yeah, they just disappeared. But the fact remained that the Tooks were not as respectable as the Bagginses, though they were undoubtedly richer. Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe they went out in the world and got rich. Not that Belladonna Took ever had any adventures after she became Mrs. Bungo Baggins. Bungo, that was Bilbo's father, built the most luxurious hobbit hole for her, and partly with her money.
It's stuck to the bottom of her plate.
Uh-oh. You have food stuck to the bottom of your plate, Nanner? Why would you? Well, I know why. It's because you dump all the food on the tray, and then you put the plate on top. There. Problem solved. Oh, yeah. Nice burp, Nanner. All right, one on the floor. Make sacrifices to the floor so the lava doesn't burn you. Yes, and partly with her money, he built a luxurious hobbit hole that was to be found either under the hill or over the hill and across the water, and there they remained to the end of their days. Still, it is probable that Bilbo, her only son, although he looked and behaved exactly like a second edition of his solid and comfortable father, got something of a bit queer in his makeup from the Took side, something that only waited for a chance to come out. The chance never arrived, until Bilbo Baggins was grown up, being about 50 years old or so, and living in the beautiful hobbit hole built by his father, which I have just described for you, until he had in fact apparently settled down immovably. By some curious... It's a lot of sacrifice to the floor here. By some curious chance, one morning long ago, in the quiet of the world...
Anna.
This is becoming a bit too much, I think. I'll eat this before it all ends up on the floor. This is a race. Who can throw more on the floor or eat faster? I win, kind of. I think you win. More ended up on the floor.
Done.
Okay.
She's getting every crumb.
This is becoming an eating video, eating podcast. Those are popular. Maybe they'll draw more audience. Wait, I swallowed too much. Okay.
I think I know what she wants.
Ooh, mommy knew. Milkies. Yes. Okay. By some curious chance, one morning long ago, in the quiet of the world, when there was less noise and more green, and the hobbits were still numerous and prosperous, and Bilbo Baggins was standing at his door after breakfast, smoking an enormous long wooden pipe that reached nearly down to his woolly toes. Neatly brushed, Gandalf came by. Gandalf! If you had heard only a quarter of what I have heard about him, and I have only heard very little of all there is to hear, you would be prepared for any sort of remarkable tale. Tales and adventures sprouted up all over the place wherever he went, in the most extraordinary fashion. He had not been down that way under the hill for ages and ages, not since his old friend Old Took died. In fact, and the hobbits had almost forgotten what he looked like. He had been away over the hill and across the water on businesses of his own since they were all small hobbit boys and hobbit girls. All that the unsuspecting Bilbo saw that morning was an old man with a staff. He had a tall, pointed blue hat, a long gray cloak, a silver scarf over which his long white beard hung down below his waist, and immense black boots. "Good morning," said Bilbo, and he meant it. The sun was shining, and the grass was very green. But Gandalf looked at him from under long bushy eyebrows that stuck out further than the brim of his shady hat. "What do you mean?" he said. "Do you wish me a good morning, or mean that it is good morning whether I want it or not? Or that you feel good this morning? Or that it is a morning to be good on?" "All of them at once," said Bilbo. "And a very fine morning for a pipe of tobacco out of doors into the bargain. If you have a pipe about you, sit down and have a fill of mine. There's no hurry, we have all the day before us." Then Bilbo sat down on a seat by his door, crossed his legs, and blew out a beautiful grey ring of smoke that sailed up into the air without breaking and floating away over the hill. "Very pretty," said Gandalf. "But I have no time to blow smoke rings this morning. I am looking for someone to share in an adventure that I am arranging, and it's very difficult to find anyone." "I should think so in these parts. We are plain quiet folk, and have no need for adventures. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things make you late for dinner. I can't think what anybody sees in them," said our Mr. Baggins, and stuck one thumb behind his braces and blew out another, even bigger smoke ring. Then he took out his morning letters and began to read, pretending to take no more notice of the old man. He had decided that he was not quite his sort, and wanted him to go away. But the old man did not move. He stood leaning on his stick and gazing at the hobbit without saying anything, till Bilbo got quite uncomfortable and even a little crossed. "Good morning," he said at last. "We don't want any adventures here, thank you. You might try over the hill and across the water." By this he meant that the conversation was at an end. "What a lot of things you do use good morning for," said Gandalf. "Now you mean that you want to get rid of me, and that it won't be good till I move off?" Not at all, my dear sir. Let me see, I don't think I know your name." Yes, my dear sir, and I do know your name, Mr. Bilbo Baggins. And you do know my name, though you don't remember that I belong to it. I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me. To think that I should have lived to be good-morninged by Belladonna Took's son, as if I was selling buttons at the door. Gandalf, good gracious me! Not the wandering wizard that gave old Took a pair of magic diamond studs that fastened themselves and never came undone till ordered? Not the fellow who used to tell such wonderful tales at parties about dragons and goblins and giants, and the rescue of princesses, and the unexpected luck of widows' sons? Not the man that used to make such particularly excellent fireworks? I remember those. Old Took used to have them on Midsummer's Eve. Splendid. They used to go up like great lilies and snapdragons and laburnums of fire and hang in the twilight all evening. You will notice already that Mr. Baggins was not quite as prosy as he liked to believe. Also, that he was very fond of flowers. Dear me, he went on, not the Gandalf who was responsible for so many quiet lads and lassies going off into the blue for mad adventures. Anything from climbing trees to visiting elves, or sailing in ships, sailing to other shores. Bless me, life used to be quiet, you used to upset things badly in these parts once upon a time. I beg your pardon, but I have no idea you were still in business. More milkies for Anner Nanner.
What do you say?
Milk?
Fish? Here, give it to Mama. Give it to Mama. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, that was kind of a good place to stop. I think we've already had more than 20 minutes. And Anna seems at the last part of her lunch. So I think we'll thank you all. Thank you, Anna, for participating. Thank you, Mommy, for coming. Most unexpected. And we will close it off there before we get too much wine. Do you want to say bye, Nanner? Bye-bye.
Say bye. Bye.
Nope. Not in the mood? All right. It'll be, it will end with a wine. Back tomorrow, hopefully. Bye-bye.
She doesn't even want, I don't think she wants to know.